What is up, guys? It is Simba here, and welcome back to another world video on the channel. And today we're gonna go round Silverstone the normal way round and the reverse way round. So it is another sprint weekend. If you haven't seen the last one, which was in Austria, be sure to check that one out before you see this one, so you give yourselves an idea on what to expect for this one. And if you're looking forward to this one, make sure you hit the like button and get subscribed for more league racing content on F1 25. We've been growing the channel ever so steadily over the course of this game, and I do appreciate the support. And the road to 1K is definitely getting a lot closer. But you can see now, we are halfway through our one and only qualifying lap here around Silverstone. I was really struggling to nail down the setup, and you can see through the start of Sector 2, the front end is just not clicking whatsoever, as we did get Brooklands and Luffield completely wrong, as I almost forgot the corner names. As we go through the end of Sector 2, a little bit wide through Chapel, one of the worst corners on the game, because you have to carry in 6th gear to ensure you carry enough minimum speed, and we were millimetres away from invalidating, and it's not been a great lap. You can see we dip a wheel into the gravel before we enter Stowe, and it's just a really unclean lap. You can tell that it's a very nervy lap. You know, the inputs aren't smooth, and there's some silly mistakes in there, but we're going to come across the line and see where we end up. So let's see what happens here.
Oh my god, that was awful. Jesus Christ, how the fuck am I 14th?
And that question says it all. Somehow, we're 14th. That's probably one of the worst laps you'll ever see around Silverstone on this game. And we were quite a way off pole position, but I wasn't too mad about that, because I was expecting to be last. I didn't really feel like I had any sort of pace, and I'll take it. You know, 4 places off the top 10 start, you know, a top 10 position, which is the points, how the point system works in the sprint race. Anyway, you can see I'm going through 2 people that actually invalidated, so it could have been a lot worse. And as we get into the sprint race, it's raining. 4 wet tyres. Yes, and you can hear me in the background telling my teammate,
it's mandatory,
Skyline, that we're having to make a mandatory stop anyway, regardless if it's raining or not. So let's see what happens.
Oh, God.
Wet tyres on the wagon. A bit of a mix up and down the grid. So let's see what happens here. 9 laps in front of us for the sprint race, and the lights are out, and we are underway for the first of 2 races in this video, as we get a pretty decent getaway going in towards turn number 1. A few cars going wide. The Ferraris picked up damage. The Red Bulls are tripping over each other, and Aston Martin going very slowly as well. And we are right in the middle of all this carnage, and we've managed to keep it clean through the first 3 corners. Let's see what happens through turn number 4, holding it round the outside of the TF10 driver behind us, who is on intermediate tyres. So the wet tyres are going to be the better tyre to start off with. There's an RB off the road, which is an AMR car. And by the time we get into Brooklands and Luffield, we are in the top 10, which is fantastic. That is a perfect start to this race, and we're already on target of what I want to get out of this race, and that's a points finish. And we've done that already on lap 1. And we can definitely carry this from here. It seems that everyone is struggling to train their brains to adapt to these conditions, as that's what you have to do between dry qualifying and wet races. As you can see, VNT Tom doesn't get the best run out of Cops. We had a little bit of a look through Maggots, but through Beckett's, we're really pushing him through the corner, but that's because the VNT driver has front wing damage that he's picked up on the first lap. You can see we're all over his gearbox as we come through Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight, trying to get into a slipstream, but as you guys know, overtaking is a foreign concept on this game, so slipstream is non-existent. You can see it goes a bit wide through Stowe, trying to leave us the space, thankfully, which is nice to see, as he peels off into the pits. So his race is already in the mud, but for us, that's another position, and we're up into P9 in this race, and we're looking in front of us. You can see Volokongan has gone for the intermediate tyres, and he's going to be struggling through the first lap or 2. And we've got Lafitte in the sister Red Bull in front of us as well. So I'm thinking that we can definitely score some decent points. But by lap 3, you can see there's a bit of a dry line developing. And I thought my teammate had boxed on lap number 2, as he was talking about boxing. So keep that in mind. We're P8, as someone has boxed in between the laps. But we're going to go in for our 1 mandatory pit stop. But this is where it all falls apart. So we're going to make sure we don't speed in the pits. And we do that very nicely, well within the speed limit, but our teammates followed us in.
Why have you boxed on the same lap?
Yeah, not ideal. You can hear me just ranting in the background. I can't believe it. But it's only going to get worse,
on lap 2,
ladies and
not
gents.
3.
Now, for this race,
Fuck's sake, man.
for some reason, we didn't have an engineer. I've gone on another set of wet tyres, thinking that the conditions won't really improve that much. And I saw Volokongan struggling on his intermediates in the first 2 laps, but you can see everyone around us in that top left-hand side of the screen have picked the green WOR tyre. And is it the right decision? We're going to find out in just a few moments' time as we go in towards Village and into turn number 4. You can see we're right behind Lafitte. You can see that also, I think FRT Dawid is just a couple of seconds up the road, but you can see going through now onto the Wellington Straight. Yeah, we're struggling. We're struggling. There's no temperature in the tyres. The tyres were literally just under 30 degrees. And you can see Lafitte just driving away from us. You can see how much we have to just lock the front wheel, lock the wheels, or flick the wheel, as they say, just to get the car rotated through Brooklands.
Oh, the wets feel awful now. Brilliant.
And there is a very dry line developing on the racing line. So that told me that we've made the wrong decision. And we didn't have an engineer for this. But I will say, I made the decision and it was turned out to be the wrong one. And we're going to be struggling for the rest of this race, in spite of being in P9. You can see Aslas on the right tyre goes up the inside. And we don't really fight him because there's not much point fighting him. You know, we need to make sure that we can keep our tyres alive till the end of the race. So it's going to be a struggle. We're down to P10 when genuinely a P7 finish looked promising in the opening laps of the race. And Skyline has made the same mistake as me, as this is his first wet running on this entire game. So that is a way to get thrown straight into the deep end. Racing in World in the wet for your first race is far from ideal. So, yeah, we're 10th. And unfortunately, we're not really showing any pace. The wets felt horrible, and you can see by the time we get to the penultimate lap of the race, Silo's done a 39.5. We are 6 seconds off Astala in front of us. Volokongan also, it's nearly 7 seconds in front. These wet tyres are awful, and now we have got IRTC right behind us on the intermediate tyres. Tom was catching us as well, and he was trying to fend him off, but Sebas finally got through, and we're next.
I've just gone 3 seconds slower than the race leader, man. It's crazy.
And there you go. That tells you everything that you need to know. We've made the wrong decision, and yeah, we're struggling for pace. The pace is non-existent, and now Seb has his opportunity. We've got 1 lap to try and hang on to this 1 point, which will mean a lot for us because we haven't scored too many points since the opening 4 rounds of the season, but we don't fully cover the inside. And I felt like Valtteri Bottas back in 2018, which is never, ever a good thing.
That's why.
Because his racecraft and defending was awful that year. And Seb has done a very Sebastian Vettel-esque move on us there into Brooklyn to move up into P10. And at that moment, I knew it was over. It was game over. He's going to drive away from us unless he makes a mistake somewhere. Unless he flies off the circuit. Or we gain a generational run out of Chapel. I don't think there's much we can do at this point. You can see we haven't really managed to charge up any battery, so we can't exactly think about going after him on the Hangar Straight. And once again, we are looking backwards instead of forwards, because now the sister AMR car in the RB is right on our gearbox. We tried to go defensive. AMR Dom has won the race. Fair play to him. His teammate has just gone round the outside. A little bit of argy-bargy there. I'm not too happy about it, but we're down in P12. You can see Tom, who pitted on the first lap, also trying to fend off TF10 Wards, racing for RSC now through the final sector, and that is a P12 finish and no points when they seem so promising.
Top tier clownery. How do you not have an engineer for these things?
And yeah, you can take my frustration there. Skyline's finished last there, and we just couldn't believe it. There was no engineer. If you've seen the QRT Twitter, you've seen us sign up a plethora of engineers, but not one of them were available for that. And I think if we had one, I wouldn't have gone on the wets, and I would have probably scored points. So, yeah, not having an engineer for the biggest tournament in console, regardless of what race it is unacceptable. That simply just cannot run. And I was absolutely livid. Absolutely fuming. And it carried over into the reverse format, where I was practicing a lot for both races, obviously, because you need to practice a lot for World. And after the sprint race, I was absolutely livid, and we were not exactly getting things going in qualifying either. It's not been a great first lap by any stretch of the imagination. You can see, but we're going to cross the line now, and it's a 25.9 that puts us 16th. My personal best was a 0.0, and I had potential to do a 0.9, a 24.9 if I put it all together. But so we've got one more lap to try and fix this now. Into turn 1 we go. Obviously, downshift to 7th gear, going into the Vale chicane. You want to try and clip on the curb on the inside through the left, and that will set you up nicely for the right. We didn't quite do that. I was struggling with the front end again. Same as Silverstone the other way around, and even the Austria qualifying session for the sprint race. The front end just doesn't bite at all. I was just struggling. I just couldn't get the car turned in. You can see we get the car turned in a bit more through Beckett's and Maggots, but we are 3/10 up, however. So it's not looking too bad. We can still get something out of this lap. But as we go through Cops backwards...
No! No, why does that have to happen? For fuck's sake.
We've hit the wall. We've hit the wall. My reaction says it all. I just couldn't believe it. It's a mistake I've rarely done in practice. And my reaction says it all. I just sink into my chair and I was just really upset with myself. And that concludes a disastrous session where we just don't get the lap together again. You can see Sieb gets pole position with the same lap time as Silo, 24.7. I think we had potential to get at least P11 or something, maybe P10 or something. But yeah, we just didn't put it together. And I just wanted the race to be over. And yeah, that's how it goes. And you know, when you have moments like this, especially when you put in so much practice, I think I practiced from Saturday all the way to the actual day of the race. It just drains your confidence. And I was wishing for the race to be over. I just didn't want to bother anymore. But you're going to have to move on. You're going to have to just pick yourself up from these moments and realise that you score points in the race. And that's exactly what we're going to try and do. Now, the tyre wear for this track is absolutely egregious on the front right tyre. But I'm confident in my race pace. And I'm confident in my racecraft. And we're going to try and get something out of this race. 2 places off the points. It is Silverstone reverse. And the lights are out, and we are underway for the second time around Silverstone, but this time going the other way around, going into turn number 1, a little bit of lag going on, everyone ghosting momentarily, as we're trying to keep things clean. It's going to be a lot harder to make overtakes because this section of the track is so narrow. We've got an Aston Martin moving the wrong way round, so he's lost out, but as we go through Stowe, there's a McLaren on the loose.
Oh, come on, no!
Okay, you've got front wing damage. This will have a major impact on performance unless you box for a new one.
I do not believe it. I really do not believe it.
Yeah. We got damage. We had a collision on lap 1. And that is game, set and match. Because it's very unlikely that a safety car will pop up. It is on reduced, I think, in the settings, in the lobby. So... And it's quite hard to actually cause a safety car around here in general. But yeah, that was it. GG's. Game over. And that's a whole bunch of time and practice down the drain. And it is very upsetting. We're going to change the wing. I mean, I might as well just carry on. I'm not just going to retire. I might as well, you know, try and finish the race, albeit miles and miles off another car. Because I know there's some people that would love to race in this tournament. So I might as well make the most of it and try and just finish the race, really. So that's all we're going to do.
Yeah,
that is what we're going to do.
Leave it, man.
And see, and just pray for a safety car to appear. But we actually are in a battle with someone to not finish last as we got all the way to lap 21. We've been lifting and coasting through all the hard stints, because that's what you have to do in order to save tyres around this track, because you have to protect the front right tyres. You can see there, lifting off, not really braking too much, just trying to take away all the stress on these tyres, especially through the left-handers. And we are right behind one of the EVR cars in the Sauber. So, yeah, it's not all bad. We've been saving our battery quite decently, as this is a battle for pride, really, not to finish last. in this Grand Prix. And you can see he's got a little bit wide, so he could maybe size up a move, but he goes a little bit. And the stream lags a little bit as well, which I didn't really know when I was streaming at the time. But you can see now,
I think
the commentators left the session, and that basically means I've disconnected.
Yeah.
And that is a great way to sum up how bad this race has been. So yeah, we're going to retire on lap 22. You can see everyone pitting, but that is not the case. More people are continuing to leave, and that is game over. I got an invite back into the lobby, but I was fighting for 19th, and no one wants to fight for 19th. And that was it. A disastrous race. I mean, I'm surprised I'm even making this into a video myself, to be honest, but I thought I might as well just document it anyway, because these things can happen. You know, you can have everything just fall apart in these races, and that is racing. But we'll go again. Hopefully the engineering thing gets sorted, because, I mean, that's just unacceptable. But I hope you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you hit the like button, get subscribed for more races on this game. Hopefully they won't go like that. And I'll see all of you in the next one.